Alright, let's run through the 7.4 gameplay patch changes real quickly. So first off, they added a new hero, Largo. He's got a normal 4 set of abilities. He's got a shard and a scepter, but he does not have different facets just yet. His innate ability increases the duration of buffs that are applied. Abilities, Catchy Lick. It applies to teammates or enemies. It's similar to Geomagnetic Grip, so you can pull your teammates. You can also pull enemies, and it applies a basic dispel. So when you apply an effect, when you remove an effect of the dispel, you get a little bit of regen applied.
Yes.
Same thing for enemies, so if he takes that, I take it off of him, I get another little stack of regen. Second ability makes an AoE, it does some damage, slows and mini stuns to enemies. Third ability applies a buff to teammates that reduces the mana cost of their spells and makes them hit harder. So you can see normal Laguna Blade, 300 mana, does 750 damage. Right there, 750, normal mana cost. When I apply the buff to a teammate, dukes down to 255, and then the bonus damage is applied slowly as a dot. So it's going to give, at this current level, 35%. It's going to take it from 750 to a little over 1,000. Goes up to 45%. So it's kind of like a dot spell amp. So 45% spell amp could be pretty powerful. The real interesting part about this hero, though, is his ultimate. It's a little rhythm game, so you turn it on, you enter a new stance, or you don't have your other abilities. You can pretty much toggle it at will. It has a 2-second cooldown, so you can't just spam switch it when you start playing. But when you play this, you have the ability to have spell amp or movement speed or a pulse healing to you and your teammates. So I can apply this, and you need to press the button again, or you can switch, start healing, or applying an offensive buff. You can only have one at a time. To purchase the Aghanim Scepter, you can play 2 notes at the same time. You can see just pressing 2 buttons and it's triggered. Now with the Aghanim Shard, this allows you to apply buffs that are targeted to yourself also when you target a teammate, and similarly when you apply a buff to yourself, it'll apply to a random teammate that's nearby. So if I put Solar on Lena, it's going to give it to me, and then if I apply it to myself, so there's the effect being applied to the teammate. Here's his talents real quick. Now looking at the actual patch changes. Talents have their own skill points, so once you hit level 10 you can level up a skill and a talent. It also changes the distribution of attributes, so certain facets that give different skill levels now have their full amount of attribute bonuses back. Tier 4 towers have an armor thing on them, so you need to take down barracks in order to reduce the armor back down to its base value. Flag bearers don't affect heroes anymore with their regen. Couriers respawn a little bit faster. Illusion Vision got nerfed, that's pretty important. Tormentor has a thing on the map that you can ping now, so you can ping this just like the Roshan timer. Invis Rune no longer has damage reduction. They changed some spots on the map. So for the map changes, the Wisdom Shrines you can see are on low ground now in the water. And there's a Watcher right next to him still. Water also connects up to the river, kind of. This area got turned into an actual little bridge. Changed the location of some Watchers, so this one right here has gotten moved up to there. The Watcher that's near the stairs here has just been removed. They changed some of the neutral spawns, so in the triangle you no longer have a hard camp with your ancients, it's just a medium camp. And then similarly in the jungle, over here in what I call the give up camps, this hard camp that's near the base is now a medium camp, and it has a gate next to it, Defender's Gate for the team. Twin gates are now cheaper to use, and if you cancel the channel, you get your mana cost back. When you send your character to the secret shop, it now goes to a little bit of a safer spot, so it's going to be hiding over in the trees right here, and then on the dire side, it goes over here in the trees to hide. They changed invulnerability a little bit, so certain things can no longer target invulnerable units, so like Cyclone. So you can't nullify someone out of a Yule Scepter anymore. You can't use Vacuum on Morphling in his waveform, or Vengeful Swap. Clarities are more expensive. Healing salves when they're shared now heal slower. They heal for the full duration, but at half value. Observer wards have some duplicate planting protection. Same thing with sentries. Smokes can be used from the backpack, and they have no cooldown when they come out of your backpack now. Shared tangos are nerfed to heal for half the amount, similar to how salves work. Crimson Guard, this one's a big one. This buff is no longer dispellable, so this item is super overpowered right now. Another huge change, Diffusal Blade and Disperse for the upgrade. They no longer apply the mana break from illusions. Ethereal Blade got changed back to be, well, not changed back, but it's now 1 times the sum of cast attributes, so it's going to be good on the universal heroes that stack all stats instead of being based on the target. Greaves got a little bit of nerf. Midas no longer has an XP multiplier, so this item is pretty dead. Heart of Tarrasque gives you Burning Blood, a type effect similar to Huskar. Halberd got slightly buffed. It's required to be strong dispelled now. Locket got buffed for healing and nerfed for mana. Wand got a slight nerf. Nullifier got nerfed. Radiance Burn does not have a miss effect on it anymore, however they upped the evasion bonus. Shiva's Arctic Blast took off the extra damage to illusions. This effect also got applied to a lot of similar stuff, so Radiance also no longer does damage to illusions extra. Silver Edge got a huge buff. This item's going to be crazy. It now caps the target's movement speed to 200 for the entire duration of the buff, meaning it has the same effect as Naga Siren's Deluge, so any unit that's hasted is now going to have their movement speed stuck at 200 for a full 6 seconds. This item's going to be really strong. Urn of Shadows and Spirit Vessels, all of them can get charges. So if you have multiple urns, they'll all receive charges, regardless of vessels. But only one vessel on the team will get charges. They took out the most hated neutral in the game. Sister Shadow is now gone, along with Lash and Spark of Courage. We now have an item that gives Barrier and Weighted Dice, which rerolls your auto attack if it's low in the damage range. Brigand's Blade's gone. Defiant Shell is back, but it's slightly different now. It's a random target. Searing Signet has damage nerf to non-heroes. Gale Guard is gone. GD Pollen is nerfed. Unrelenting Eye is now a tier 3 item. Flare's DotA gives you a Mask of Madness-like effect without the downsides, and the cooldown refreshes when you kill somebody. Maul get a slight nerf. There are new items. Metamorphic Mandible makes you small, gives you spell resistance, makes you a little bit faster for a short period of time. Idol of Skriok is like a runaway item, gives you phase movement speed, slow resist, and evasion. Rattle Cage is back, functions pretty much the same. You take damage, you deal damage. Helm of the Undying is gone. Dizzin Bloodright is now a tier 5 item, and it's a little bit stronger. There's a new tier 5 item that makes a relatively strong illusion. Moving on to hero changes, most of the changes for this patch are going to be like number nerfs or buffs. Any-Mage no longer has Counterspell Ally. Axe got a pretty significant change. Battle Hunger no longer stacks with your armor and instead does pure damage. Batrider got a vision buff, so he has 1800 daytime vision now. Bloodseeker got his shard and his scepter changed, so his old shard that gave you, his old scepter that gave you an auto attack buff that does pure damage based on max HP similar to Feast is now his shard. Got a small number nerf, and his new scepter is going to be the 2 charges of rupture, which was previously the 25 talent, and it also has the initial damage stacked on too, so that talent also got replaced. Brewmaster got a lot of changes. The big thing with Brewmaster's changes is they got rid of the Void aspects, so he no longer has a Void stance, and he no longer has a Void Ruling. They swapped around his Shard and his Aghanim's. So his Shard is going to be related to his new ability called Liquid Courage, where he can give alcohol to a teammate or himself. Gives you some status resistance, some move speed. It's based on how low your HP is. The Shard is going to give a strong effect, so the max effect there for 5 seconds and give 2% max HP regen. Drunken Brawler's Brewed Up effect now is not tied to Cinder Brew. It's going to be when you recast any ability, you get the buff for 5 seconds, and any other ability is going to extend it by 1 second, which then it goes on a 9-second cooldown after it expires. Cinder Brew is now the old roll at the barrel facet, as his 2 facets got removed. Primal Split got some number tweaks. A lot of values going down for the Brewlings, the duration goes up. Aghanim Scepter makes it stronger though. The new Scepter is going to function similar to the old Shard, where it gives you the ability to cancel it, but it's also going to increase the effects of the abilities and the stats of the Brewlings. The Snot Rocket Facet got nerfed on Bristleback. Broodmother Shard got nerfed on the duration, and Broodmother also has a move speed cap ignoring 25 talent now. Clinks has had his facets removed. He has a new innate ability that buffs your hero and your skeletons, causing them exclusively to pierce armor, and it stacks up when you or your skeletons hit. Searing Arrows has returned and now replaces Tar Bomb. Works just like it used to, where it gives bonus damage for a mana cost. Clockwork can toggle his jetpack for the duration of it with a 1-second cooldown now. Vacuum can no longer pull invulnerable units, so you can't pull Morphling out of waveform or anything crazy like that. For Death Prophet, movement speed got moved off of Exorcism and into her passive, so now she's passively going to be faster, but not get a speed buff when she uses Exorcism. Doom got his Devil's Bargain facet removed. Drow's Marksmanship disable range has been further reduced to 325 now. Earth Spirit had his facets removed. He now gets a passive bonus attack damage based on how many Stone Remnant charges you're holding, and whenever you use an ability on a Stone Remnant, you get a 10-second buff that is slightly larger. Geomagnetic Grip can now just target allies, and the Shard just makes it a little bit stronger, lower cooldown, and they also pull faster now, so it's not so useless. But you can't pull allies that are in these big spells or affected by Alicia Root. Additionally, he has a 25 talent that allows him to magnetize himself now, instead of magnetize being just undispellable. Earthshaker's Shard got nerfed, you can no longer walk through Fissure, it's very sad. Time Dilation on Faceless Void now always applies a slow and a damage, even if there's nothing on cooldown, and consequently the numbers got reduced a little bit. Grimstroke's double Phantom interaction looks like it got nerfed, and you can no longer double Phantom things. Io got a Spirits nerf and a new 25 talent. Jug got nerfed, Totem Thing, numbers. Coddle got some damage buffs for Blinding the Light, a new Blinding the Light damage talent, so they're trying to give this more damage. Kez got a lot of number changes. The main thing that's going to be different here though is Falcon Rush no longer has a fixed attack rate or interaction with attack speed, and there's also a 50% reduced chance to proc random effects. You also cannot trigger the marks, so you can't blow up the stun from this ability, but you can still make them, and consequently it has a lower chance to happen because of this other change. Lone Druid got a lot of changes. The main ones are that Spirit Bear is now a full-on hero, and is the innate ability for Lone Druid now. In place of Spirit Bear, he now has this ability called Entangle. This allows your bear to passively apply stacks to enemy to proc Entangle instead of it being random. When I hit this guy, it gets 1. Once this target reaches 5 stacks, they'll be rooted, similar to before. The root's a little bit stronger, it pierces BKB. The hero can also apply stacks, but not regularly, so on the hero you have the Entangle ability. Whenever you cast it, it'll give you a buff that allows you to apply attacks, and it also instantly applies 2 stacks in an AoE and instantly roots creeps. So I put this on, now I can hit him, apply stacks to my hero, 5, he'll be rooted again. Come over here, I can root this guy too. The AoE is just for applying the stacks. Spirit Link has the attack speed taken off of it. Spirit Link gives move speed that got taken away. True Form had a lot of its numbers reduced, so cooldown down to 60 seconds now, duration's down to 25, mana cost also a lot cheaper, and you don't get Entangling Claws and Demolish. However, you do get a lot of attack damage and some more bonus armor. Spirit Bear is now a full hero, as such he has his own separate talent tree. Other than that, the hero is mostly similar, but there's been a lot of different number changes to this hero. Medusa no longer benefits from mana cost reduction items. Morphling now can stun with just baseline adaptive strike. They nerfed Nature's Prophet numbers. They made Treant stronger. Oracle's Fate's Edict is back to how it used to be, so it always disarms and grants 100% magic resistance regardless of whether or not it's an ally or an enemy, so you have to think a little bit when you're using this spell now. Rolling Thunder now has a startup time, so 1 second of a slower move speed build up until it reaches full speed. Other than that, a lot of other number nerfs. Barrier doesn't stack per hero anymore, it's now just a flat number as long as it hits a hero. And Swashbuckle slows now instead of Shield Crash. Phantom Assassin got her Phantom Strike ability changed to be a 2-charge ability with a higher cooldown instead of a low cooldown ability. Phantom Lancer's had a lot of changes just because the normal illusion changes, and then also the hero specifically has been changed a lot. They took his facets away. Illusory Armaments is no longer just the flat damage innate ability that it used to be, and instead it now makes it to where your new illusions that spawn start at a higher damage number, and they lose that damage after 3 seconds. This damage number scales with your hero level, so at level 30 it should be up to 38% is the minimum damage that your illusions will be doing. Phantom Rush doesn't give agility and instead gives evasion, and the effect does not linger anymore. They've also taken the Lancelot facet and they've put it into his talent tree. Puck can't heal off of buildings with his innate ability anymore. Ricky's another hero that got a bunch of changes. He doesn't have these facets anymore, but he does have the XP attached directly to his ultimate when he gets kills or assists. Backstab now scales straight from level 1 up to level 30 instead of being attached to your ultimate, and it's no longer connected to your attack. It's a separate instance of damage. Tricks of the Trade doesn't deal damage based off your attack anymore, and instead does a flat damage, but still applies the damage from Backstab. They also changed Blink's track to no longer have 2 charges, and instead have a shorter cooldown. In this talent tree you can see they put the damage on Tricks of the Trade back in as a 15 talent. Rubik can use the Telekinesis Land sub-ability without cancelling your channels now. Demonic Purge can no longer target invulnerable units. This is pretty important, these 2 changes. Sark got a pretty big shift. He's mostly the same hero now, but he has an additional ability, Saltwater Shiv. Essence Shift is his passive or his innate ability, and the duration scales with his hero level now. Pounce by default applies Essence Shift stacks. Saltwater Shiv is a new ability. It works similar to DotA, so it's like a buffed auto attack on a cooldown. It goes down to 4 seconds at max, and it gives you a buff that stacks where you steal movement speed, health regen, and a health restoration from the target. Shadow Dance is now the regen source again, so once you skill this you'll have your health regen, and Depth Shroud got a little nerf. Snapfire's innate ability that buffs her attack damage doesn't apply to creeps anymore. Spectre also got changed in a big way. She's now an agility hero. Desolate is now her innate ability, so she doesn't have the phased movement anymore, and the damage scales with levels. Shadow Step is now a basic ability that replaces Desolate. This ability, you throw an illusion at somebody and it chases them for 5 seconds. You can reality to that illusion and destroy it. Her ultimate is back to being Haunt. When you cast it, it sends illusions serried across the map, and you can haunt them pretty similar to before. Now the Aghanim Scepter for Haunt makes it to where when you use reality on an illusion the first time after casting Haunt, it'll make an AoE around them that is a fear effect. Reality is also different now, just baseline when you're using it with Shadow Step or with Haunt. It now has a travel time that's incredibly fast, 0.2 seconds. Tidehunter got some changes. He works a little bit more similar to Bristleback now, so instead of having Anchor Smash on attack, it's now Anchor Smash is triggered off of Blubber on a different tier, so the talents got swapped around a little bit, but whenever you take that damage threshold, you'll trigger an Anchor Smash around you, similar to Quill Spray from Bristleback. Tiny got a buff. The Avalanche is not affected by status resist anymore, it's just an aura. Tree Protector also got very heavily reworked. Nature's Guise is now his innate ability that can be cast, so you start out with this leveled. It has a scaling cooldown, so whenever you leave Nature's Guise, this ability will start ticking its cooldown down, starting at 50 seconds to level 1. Just gives invisibility. Nature's Grasp no longer has the tree interaction, and as such had its damage numbers adjusted slightly to compensate. Leech Seed is now another auto attack ability similar to DotA, so you place the Leech Seed into a target when you attack them, and the healing done scales with your auto attack damage. Leaving Armor got really heavily changed too. It's now a damage block that is sort of instance based, starts out at 100 and is reduced when the target takes hero damage. It also lasts for a much shorter time and has a lot higher regen to compensate, so it heals slightly less overall, but a lot faster. Eyes in the Forest got moved to the Shard, so the Eyes in the Forest ability, it is just giving you pretty much observer wards, and you don't need a Quelling Blade to destroy these now. You can just attack them when you see them, and they no longer cast Overgrowth from the Eyes in the Forest. They also have a limited duration of 5 minutes, and the restore time is roughly 1 minute. Overgrowth's Aghanim Scepter, though, it makes you similar to like Undying, where you get huge, you gain 100% strength, you have an AoE attack that splashes, and you have phase movement, and your movement speed is fixed at 345. It also reduces the cooldown. Ursa had his Shard reworked, so no more Enrage on Earthshock, thank goodness. That thing's gone. If you're an Ursa enjoyer, you're going to be really sad. Nether Swap can no longer target invulnerable units. This was kind of important for some specific cases. Maledict can also apply to player-controlled creeps now, so Dominator units and such. And those are all the important changes from the patch. There's definitely a lot of other stuff, some things that are going to be really important if you play a specific set of heroes, some number changes that are going to really matter. So definitely go check out the patch notes for yourself if you are interested in a specific hero, but these are going to be all the major gameplay affecting changes that you need to play 7.4 as an informed gamer. And if you want to learn some more cool stuff about Dota 2, check out the other videos on my channel. See ya!